Yes, well, good evening, everybody. Right, now, a bit of early Christmas cheer, everyone. The latest figures appear to show that Omicron is milder. Early evidence suggests that fewer people are needing hospital treatment than with other variants, with estimates ranging from a 30% to a 70% reduction. The researchers said that they were seeing a roughly two-thirds reduction in the number needing hospital care. And the latest study from South Africa showed people were 70 to 80% less likely to need hospital treatment. Apparently, there's a 40% reduction in needing to stay in hospital for more than a day. So it looks like it's good news, doesn't it? Even Professor Pants Down Neil Ferguson said, and I'm quoting, "This is clearly good news to a degree." That's the equivalent of him taking his top off and dancing around singing Celebrate Good Times. Although, I probably shouldn't use that analogy with Professor Pants Down. After all, this is the guy who predicted millions of deaths and was so worried about the whole thing that he had to go and meet his married lover to blow off a little bit of steam at the height of the first wave. Anyway, it's fair to say that he got a first-class honours from the Matt Hancock School of Social Distancing, didn't he? Anyway, to be fair on Boris Johnson, he does appear to have stuck to his guns, for now at least, and rediscovered, potentially, his libertarian roots. He's ruled out any more restrictions before Christmas. This is despite what Chris Whitty is telling him. Of course, Whitty, whose own Wikipedia page describes his personal life as being private, single and having no children, must be crippled with fear at the idea of advising the nation to stay in isolation. Although I think that's possibly a bit mean. I have heard that he's the first person, genuinely, to always offer to do Christmas shifts at the NHS. So he has personally been on the front line of this thing. Anyway, we're standing on the precipice of a January lockdown. It looks like it's going to happen, but ultimately it's down to Boris Johnson to sign off on that, isn't it? And here, ladies and gents, we have an opportunity. After all, this is the man who, when deciding whether or not to back Brexit, wrote two letters, one backing Remain, one backing Leave, a pros and cons list, if you will. And he was ultimately swayed by the way the political and public wind was blowing. So, blow that wind, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't want any more restrictions, if you don't want a January lockdown, write to him. Inundate the Downing Street letterbox with your opposition to another lockdown. Take to Twitter, take to the streets, as indeed tens of thousands did at the weekend. The benefit of having a man in charge who is easily swayed is that we can sway him, isn't it? So, make your voice heard. I tell you what wound me up earlier, though. Tony Blair. He came out and said that anyone who doesn't have a vaccine is an idiot. Now, you may well think that anyone who doesn't have the jab is an idiot. I personally don't think that, but for what it's worth, I am vaccinated. But I believe deeply in bodily autonomy, and I don't think it's right to call the unvaccinated idiots. Just take a look at Blair saying this.
If you're not vaccinated at the moment and you're eligible and you've got no health reason for not being vaccinated, you're not just irresponsible. I mean, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I mean, that is, truthfully, you are.
Yes, thank you, Tony. Well, aside from whether or not you think that people who haven't had the jab are idiots, the fact is that Tony Blair, calling them idiots, isn't going to convince anyone to go and get vaccinated. You can picture it now, can't you? We're at the vaccine centre, ladies and gents. First jab, sir? Yes, well, gosh, I was fundamentally morally opposed to taking this vaccine, and I managed to ignore the public and societal pressure for me to get one throughout numerous different waves of this pandemic, but, oh, goodness me, then Tony Blair called me an idiot, and now here I am, stick it in my arm, sunshine. Oh, Tony Blair, you say? Which Tony Blair's that, sir? Oh, you know, Tony. No weapons of mass destruction, Tony. You know, wanted to bring us into the Euro, Tony. Oh, secret deals with the IRA, Tony. Oh, yeah, that's the one. I mean, there's no way that this man could ever possibly be on the wrong side of history, is there? So jab me up, Scotty. Anyway, we've got to give credit where credit is due to Boris Johnson. Christmas is on, and he hasn't gone absolutely mental. Well, any accusation, frankly, that he could be labelled as Wales's Mark Drakeford is bang out of order. The rules in Wales, ladies and gents, currently mean that you get fined for going into the office, but you're allowed to go to the pub. So, in theory, you could move your office to the pub and you'd be fine, but if you want to nip back to the workplace to pick up your laptop charger, you're now a criminal. So, although to be fair, Drakeford is a socialist, so in reality he probably doesn't want anyone having a job anyway, I suppose, and instead of a 4-day week, he's just gone the whole hog, hasn't he, and gone for a no-day week. So, there we go. No doubt Barry Island will soon look like Cuba on sea within weeks. Anyway, look, it appears that Omicron cautiously may well be a silver bullet. Fingers crossed, it is. I've had enough of fear, I've had enough of doom-mongering, I've had enough of economic damage. At some point, I may well have to look my future children in the eye and justify why I went along with a situation that meant that this country was left so riddled with debt that they have to pay for it. And I can no longer justify that. Christmas is on. It's on like Omicron. Have a good one, everybody.